How you doing, everybody? Today, welcome to the Sports Plug. My name is Xavier Williams with my co-host Jordan Briggs from Briggs Squad.
Jordan Briggs here again, another week.
We also have a very special guest today, a long-time friend from the throwback days of Langham Creek High School. We welcome to the show McKnight.
Yes, sir. What's good, baby?
How you doing? I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Nice to talk some basketball with a basketball player.
Yes, sir.
I do appreciate you being on the show, Mac. Of course, today we'll be talking about episode 3 and 4 of The Last Dance, 30 for 30, with Michael Jordan, of course. We'll throw it to you, Mac. How do you feel about those episodes?
I mean, I love it right now, especially because it's basketball, especially during this quarantine time. We don't have any basketball games to watch, so this is giving everybody the chills and making you feel like there's something to watch and look forward to every Sunday. I mean, it's like watching football every Sunday. You look something to look forward to every week. I mean, so I love it. I especially love the duration of it. It's 2 hours of your day. I have to sit up and watch it. I can't just sit back and just chill. I get goosebumps and so I love it, man. I love that basketball is just on TV right now. That's what
I definitely agree. I'll be honest with you, Mac. I didn't even think about it when it comes to it coming on a Sunday. That's usually that is a football slot right there. It is coming on at 8 East or 9 Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. So it is a great prime time special for everybody from East Coast to West Coast to watch. I definitely didn't think about that. But
ESPN knows what it's doing.
Oh yeah,
what about
you, Jordan? What you think?
I think it's really cool. Episode 3. Episode 3 and 4 really cool. You know me, I'm the Michael Jordan guy, so I just love watching just the development of how everything's going. Also not to get too much into it, I'm gonna go detail by detail, but the whole Dennis Rodman part was really dope. So I did episode 3 and 4. I think 3 was probably my favorite so far.
Oh, best believe we'll be getting into Dennis Rodman, Phil Jackson, of course the Isaiah Michael rivalry and whatnot. We'll be getting into all of that. Speaking of course, Michael and Isaiah, that would be the first topic we'll talk about. It seems like they kind of still don't like each other. Especially Michael.
Yeah, that's how you know the rivalry is, bro.
Yeah,
they really hate each other.
Yeah, that's a real rivalry.
They actually hate each other. Michael's looking at
I don't care what he says. Mike pretty much was I don't care what you're about to show me. He can say whatever he wants to say now. Yeah. And he basically guessed what Isaiah Thomas was going to say. Because he was saying, look, at the time, if I had some time to think about it, we probably did the wrong thing. Jordan had called it. He don't want to hear it. It's funny seeing older guys who can't prove it on the court no more. You see their blood boiling. They want to go at each other so bad. It's been 30 years, and they got kids and grandkids. It's over with. When you put competitors back in that mental zone, even at an old age, I just love to see that because they still are on that.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Really cool. It's funny, again, the quote that Michael Jordan says, it's no way that you can convince me otherwise that Isaiah is not an asshole. And one thing I've heard throughout my time about Isaiah is that he is that person that will smile in your face and stab me in your back. Now, me and Jordan have family that is from Detroit. They love them some Pistons. So
hate Jordan.
And they hate Michael Jordan. So their mindset and view on Isaiah and Michael Jordan rivalry is a little bit different. So shout out to them Bad Boys Pistons. Shout out to the Detroit family out there. I am not biased. I just love everything that goes on both sides. I'm not out here, on the Chicago side or Detroit side. I'm just trying to figure out who's really right and who's wrong. Because, we'll go back to what Isaiah did in the first place. Lead up to that quote. Isaiah was the one, orchestrated with Bill Laimbeer to walk off off of the last game of the floor. Off of the floor last game of that series, and pretty much pass the torch to the Bulls to say, well, since y'all beat us, here y'all go, and this is how you're going to get it because they learned it from the Celtics. Now, how do you feel about that?
I mean, every good player, every great player, every great teams, and they have to go through stages of that to be great, and your greatness ends at some point. You have to go through those things so they can become even better, so they can become iconic. So I mean, I feel like that happened for a reason. I'm glad it did. That bad blood created good TV, good basketball, good
good stories. And I know you grew as a guard. You know what I'm saying? You got to agree. If you want to play at that level and you're the guard, you kind of have to be that tough guy, that mean guy. You got to be that dog.
You have to.
You can't be as lax as the 6'6", 6'5" dude. You got to be. So part of it, I feel like too. I do sympathize being a guard with Isaiah. you need that if you want to even get anywhere close.
Especially being a smaller guard like he was. I understand completely. Nobody's mad at IT and what he did and whatnot. You know, it's that fire, especially with Detroit as a city. You know, one of the quotes in the 30 for 30 was, when you come to Detroit, you're gonna get your ass whooped. And the Detroit family we know, that is very true. So I think that Isaiah, even though he played the ball in Indiana, he took on that Detroit persona. The whole Pistons bad boys, they took on that persona and whatnot, and engulfed that city with Detroit, and they were just like, it's fine. You know, we are bad boys. We gonna take it.
They did represent the city.
I also feel like if you're a point guard, you have to be national. Like
basically,
Paul, Rondo, everybody but Steve Nash is freaking international.
Basically,
but that's what it takes. That's like those guys win, and obviously you have to. Because as a small guy, it's not little man syndrome, but you got to do more than just score the ball. You have to be loud and command and lead in different ways. Yeah, you have to, because you're the smallest guy in the room. Let's just face it. So like, you have to do a little bit more. You can't just be Kevin Durant walking in, be cool, drop 30,
chill.
You just can't.
You just can't.
Especially when you're playing these guys that are 6'6" and above, and you are this guy that's 6'1".
Yeah, you're gonna feel regular on that court.
You have to have that dog in you, bro, to compete with those guys, because they just looking at you funny because you're the little guy that's annoying on the court.
Right. And I think Isaiah has said it. He was like, look, if Jordan on the ground, we can guard him. But once he decided to jump, he's not from this earth. There's nothing we can do. So I got to do all that extra stuff just for me to even compete. Also, too, another element about that question, too, you got to also understand Isaiah's from Chicago and loves the city.
Yes.
And that city took Michael Jordan
instead of him.
And turned on him because he was a Piston. And I feel like that's the other dynamic.
That's a great caveat.
Yeah, that's the other dynamic that my dad actually ran through me. And I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. A lot goes into that.
So Jordan took his heart, bro.
Basically, hey.
So that was his reason.
Right.
So he deserved it.
Right. Yeah, of the dream team.
Yeah.
So
that was Jordan's fault.
That definitely was Jordan. That was something I was going to get into as well, is the whole dream team movement. I think they'll get more into that in episode 5 next week and whatnot.
So lucky there's no social media back then, huh?
Yeah, man.
If there was a first take and stuff like that back then,
it would have been crazy.
Oh, Jordan was down there every day. Like, ooh, he would have.
I mean, some of the tapes that we're seeing now, like you said, just imagine if they had social media back then. I mean, if they had social media, it would have been, especially Rodman. You know, and we'll get into Rodman real soon. But I mean, Rodman's antics alone would have been just imagine you had Twitter. Just imagine this Rodman had his phone. He's out with Carmen Electra, and they out in Vegas, and they out partying. He got his camera and whatnot, and he going live right now. Yeah. Like, it would have been.
I gotta come in and tell him she hiding. It was just like I was just a lot. I just think Draymond Green was like, I gotta go to Vegas for 2 days.
Man,
right. I saw a tweet.
Just think about the big hoopla they made about the Hampton Five when KD, when they all met up in the Hamptons when they were trying to recruit, KD. Yeah. It would have been crazy.
It would have been going crazy.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
And of course, shout out to Steven Rivas. He's out here. He says, salute to my guy, Max. Appreciate you for tuning in. He's always right there. He's always tuning in. I appreciate that, Steven. Of course, shout out to Trey K out there in Canada watching. Also, another Langham Creek alumni.
That's my boy, too.
That's okay. Bad Boys Kitchen out there in Canada. Tune in.
That's a cool dude, man.
Oh, yeah, that's my boy Trey. He's still out there balling, too.
Yeah.
He's still out there balling and dancing.
I'm sure he
is. He's out there.
I gotta get a drink with my boy Steven. Boy, me and him going crazy. Right there, can drink. Man. We got so many stories, man.
We'll say that for another time. Well, yeah, like I said, we'll go from the dream team into Rodman and whatnot, and with Rodman, like I said, I think it was very interesting to see, and I don't know if y'all watched his 30 for 30 and then Rodman and whatnot. If you haven't, check it out. But he talked about how Chuck Daly was like a father figure to him. That was his, father figure of a coach. And before, he went to the Bulls, that was when the Pistons, right when the Pistons lost to the Bulls, and that team was separating and whatnot. And Dennis Rodman, again, y'all have to understand that Dennis Rodman we're seeing with the Bulls is not the Dennis Rodman you saw with the Pistons. So the same way Michael Jordan had to go through the Pistons to become Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman had to go through that mental anguish of his team, like all his family and friends being there, and then all of a sudden everybody getting traded away and everybody retiring or whatever it was, because he thought at the time as a young basketball player, everybody's going to be there together forever. And unfortunately, when that didn't happen, of course, he went from San Antonio to the Bulls, but you see that it seemed like even though he was a grown person at the time, he still had those childish antics, childish ways, because he was not groomed from a kid. And again, if you go watch the 30 for 30, you'll see how much childhood trauma he had to endure to even get to where he was at. And again, with him being in Oklahoma, him and Phil Jackson were able to connect on that Native American, Native American background that both of them had. And again, I think it was very cool to see that Rodman was able to come into that situation with the Bulls. And even though he was as wild as he was and as crazy as he was, Philip had the respect from Michael to say from Phil to say to Michael, trust me, I got this. I know he's loopy. I know he's crazy, but I promise you, if you let him be him, you're going to get the most out of him.
Yeah, that's what a lot of basketball. Well, actually, anybody. If you let them be themselves, you're going to get probably the best version of them. Well, that's a big gamble.
It depends on the coach, because you have some coaches that say it's my way or the highway.
Yeah, I think what makes Phil so great is that he was and I told this to Coach Eamon. I think I've seen it on Twitter. I tagged him in it. Coach Eamon Langdon.
Shout out to Coach Eamon out there.
That's my goat right there. But you know how to like deal with players' personalities, and like you have relationships with those guys. It's not just X's and O's. It's far, far, far beyond that. And like once you understand that, I think that those coaches that can talk to their guys, and you don't talk to everybody the same way. It's not just like a dictatorship. Right. You'll have those special relationships and special conversations with every single different person. Right. And that's how you get the most out of them when it does become X's and O's, because you can yell at this guy, but you can't yell at another guy. Like, then you gotta go talk to him and boom, boom, boom. Like, you know what? Let him figure it out on his own. Everybody's different. And I think Phil really understood that. And that story that you said is crazy.
And I feel like, too, I'll obviously go get more into it detail-wise of who's the best basketball coach. But as far as, like, Phil, before a basketball coach, he was a people person. And like you said, we'll talk about how he dealt with Shaq and Kobe. But, like, he was a people person. Everybody loved him. And he, like you said, as a basketball coach or a coach in any sport, you get on this guy like this, he may freeze up the next time. You get on this guy, he may get an attitude and want to quit the team. Like, you got to know personalities, especially at a pro level, because these guys have mastered their sport. That's why they're pros. They're the 1% of the 1%. So I feel like that relationship and what they're able to do, that I feel like that's what separates him. And I feel like that's why Steve Kerr has so much success with the Golden State Warriors, looking back on it, just being able to see that. And
especially with him and Curry's relationship at the point guard position and whatnot, and Kerr being not the focal point, of course, with the Bulls, being one of those role players, and now him observing Michael and seeing everything he's able to show and pass on everything that he learned from Michael to Steph, and for him to be great.
He had like a front row seat to like absorb from Scotty, from Jordan, to Phil, to the higher. He also just had
when he went to San Antonio.
Yeah, you can't do nothing but soak up. Yeah, like just you're around greatness all the time. And then also too, I feel like what I appreciated about Dennis that Mike said was like, yeah, he was out there, but he was always locked in at the same time. He said that he was there, but he was always here too. The funny story,
the Indian run story.
The Indian, they come back from he come back from Vegas. Yes. Jordan, obviously, I don't gotta get in shape. I'm in shape. Yeah, I didn't go to Vegas. It's January, we're at the top of the season. He's like, look, none of y'all take off.
Look, and what's funny about that? Cut you off. What's funny about that whole story? Everybody that our parents and older like to talk about how Michael did it this way and did it this way. So to hear Michael say, "Man, I need y'all to relax during practice."
Right. Yeah.
We heard Allen Iverson. The Allen Iverson quote practice. Right. But for Michael to say, "Bruh, like Steve, everybody, I need y'all to relax right quick because I'm tired, bruh. Like it's a long season." Exactly.
And for him to take off after those laughs, I had to catch him. I thought that was really cool too. But it goes to show you that the greats, there's different ways to skin a cat. You don't have to do it like Mike. You can do it like Dennis or like Scotty. But they all got that focus. And I feel like that showed, even though Dennis was doing a lot of other things, he was still 100% committed to not also winning, but also being the best player he can be. Sometimes he was working out. We saw in the documentary and the cameras were trying to come to him. He was like, I got to get away. Yeah. He was on the bike with the elliptical. So that goes to show you, like, the focus was still there.
Well, Dennis is kind of like a couple other guys that I can't get off the top of my head right now when it comes to these personalities in sports. They're not like everybody else, but they get the job done.
Chico,
like
guys like that.
And
Gronk's a big party guy. He gets it done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that guys like Dennis Rodman, have this bad reputation or bad rep for what they've, done. But for the things that everybody love about them is also unfortunately something that also gets them in trouble. Yeah. The reason why everybody loved Rodman is because he's a partier, he changes hairstyles, he does this and that, but they also don't like him because of his the way that he goes about life.
Mm-hmm. It also goes to show you that winning fear is everything, right?
Yes,
because he's in San Antonio, Jerry Cross don't want to touch him, the league don't want to touch him. He always kicked out the league. He comes to Chicago. If you win, people will put up with you with the nonsense. And then when he's not happy, that's when stuff becomes a problem.
And my bad, Doug, pop off the top of my head, Doug, Ron Artest. Meta World Peace. Of course, Doug, the malice in the palace, what happened with that? Him and Steven Jackson were people that, we don't want to touch right now. Of course, he gets back onto that doing the right thing, and he ends up, of course, with the Lakers with Kobe, and of course, the Zen Master, and he is the Dennis Rodman of the Lakers. Yeah, if you think about it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Kobe kind of reeled him in, kind of like how we can have this guy here because we got Scotty and Pippen here. He can't fool around.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I appreciate about this whole documentary is just, I'm a huge NBA fan. I'm a huge NBA guy. I've always been my whole life. But just the business type of way that the Bulls carry themselves, there's not a lot of teams nowadays who, like, these are some grown men. Mm-hmm. And they're out here like, look, I do play basketball, but this is my job. They treat it like an occupation. They coming in to work. And I don't know. I just feel like, I just love how calculated that whole vibe, everything. It was just really, it was light, but it was serious at the same time. Yeah.
But I think it also goes to show you, and let's be real, the different mindset of how they were playing back then in the 90s to where how guys are playing now with the TV deals. I'm just speaking of just the NBA right now. Yeah. When it comes to TV deals, when it comes to shoe deals, when it comes to the endorsements when it comes to the followers on Twitter, when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to all that stuff, everything has changed to where some guys don't have to go this route. Some guys don't have to play that extra game to get that extra check because the same check they made that game, they can get it on one post on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Some guys,
the game is just different.
It's just
different levels now, man.
There was a quote from Donovan Mitchell. There was a quote from Donovan Mitchell on Twitter. He talked about Dennis Rodman created game management. I'm sorry, load management. So I mean, it's something that's been going on from time to time. Every generation repeats what the previous generation does. They just put their new twist on it, and things get added, and it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a little bit different.
Can I ask you a side question real quick? Because we don't really know your back. I know you play, but I don't know your opinions on it. What is your opinion on Michael Jordan? Did you believe he's the greatest player of all time?
I'm a big LeBron fan.
Okay.
So I'm LeBron's the GOAT type of thing.
I got you.
And it's also because of the way I played the game of basketball.
Okay.
So I never really got to see. I mean, I was young.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
I really got to see Jordan
like that.
Yeah, so I get to witness Bron. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just be like,
ups and downs.
I see everything, but like that's basketball. You just know that's just part of the game.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that he's all around. Like Jordan is the greatest scorer to me. Like he get buckets to me.
At a high level.
At a very high level. Without shooting three balls. That's amazing. But I'm an all around type of guy. And LeBron makes the right play. He can dunk it, he can shoot it, he can do it all. And I've never seen somebody that can just do it all like that.
And this, you guys, is why we just found out the reason why the documentary came out when it came. This is the perfect time because we have adults now. We can tell a story. Yeah. We have adults now who've been separated from watching Mike. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to be honest with you. Like his last meaningful game was 98. I was like 3. Yeah, he played the Wizards. We're
that don't count, though.
But that don't count.
Yeah, he got abused.
Yeah, we all got like that and that. You know what I mean? I had to shake over. So for the most part, it's a testament to his greatness that we're talking about this, but also too, like you said, now we do have a full generation of people who maybe 10 years ago it was more conclusive that Mike was the GOAT.
Yeah, sure.
And stuff like that. But it's still, regardless though, I do want your opinion as far as like that goes because it's a split right now.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? LeBron's running his story, and not even just LeBron, it's Kobe. X is a huge Kobe guy.
You gotta add Kobe.
I
don't understand why they leave him out of the conversation.
You know why? You know why?
I don't get why, man. That dude was
Is it a non-human?
It's because
is it a non-human thing? I don't know. Non-hoopers don't put him.
It's because they talk about how he's the carbon copy of Michael, and he wasn't the same as Michael, so it don't count. So that's what it is.
So you're gonna copy somebody.
Yeah, that's a perfect person to copy, bro.
That's from social media that I see, from haters that are Kobe haters. That's what people love to say.
People that don't know basketball.
Well, let them know, Mackie. Let them know.
We've seen this guy just put daggers in people's hearts, man.
I said on episode 1 of this, or last week, or episode 1 and 2, I said it's the X. And because as a hooper, there's only been another player outside of Michael Jordan that other players, whether who's your GOAT, other players really be like, yeah, when he was on the court, I was kind of scared because I knew he was going to give me buckets. That was Kobe. When Kobe in his prime 05, 06, 07, Jordan doing his thing, it was like, look, we may win or whatever, but this man's going to come at me. I'm guarding him. And he's going to light me up no matter what the stats say. You know what I'm saying? I feel like those two guys take that attack approach as well. I feel like basketball players, you never go see a real basketball player not have Kobe in that top 3, top 5.
I don't understand.
It's going to be the analytical guys, maybe, or people who deserve Kobe, but like people who really hoop. Like, I feel like you got to respect the skill level. You got to respect the way he does.
It's funny you bring that up, Brandon and Jordan, because I was about to ask you the same thing with Mackie when it comes to your starting 5 before 2000. So
before 1999
and before, your starting 5, and I'll ask you 2000 and above, because those are, to me, and let's be right, I think those are 2 separate generations, because everybody that's coming after 2000, it's like athleticism, everything that they do is completely different. So I want to see a top 5 from 1960 to 1999.
Oh man, you gotta throw. It's definitely Magic. You gotta put Magic in there. You gotta put Bird in there. You gotta put Jordan in there. I'm a big Shaq guy, so I'm always gonna put Shaq. But he was only in the league for like what?
That's what I'm saying. That was Magic. That was Magic, Shaq, in a year with Lakers before he turned up. Or sorry, that was the first year of the Lakers.
So you'll probably have to go with Dream. You probably have to go with Dream because he beat him in the 90s. So you probably have to go there. Maybe. I'm just big on Shaq though.
Shaq was a beast.
He was. They went to the finals.
But the reason why I'm asking, because you guys will forget, what about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? What about that guy?
I'll do mine after you finish.
You have to put him in there. But definitely, I think you all remember the 80s and 90s right now. You got to remember them old school folks. They don't come
anybody, but like that's the only position that's like debatable.
I think so.
The shooting guard, you gotta give it.
After 2000, that's when the shooting guard era. Not shooting guard era, but the wing and guard era. I feel like took flight, and it went crazy. Everything
different sizes playing different things.
But again, of course, everything started with MJ. He the one that took the torch from Magic and Bird and took off with everything going above the rim.
Yeah, and then Kobe took it for a little bit.
And then again,
I give it to Shaq. I think Shaq was dominant. But
Shaq definitely was.
He was dominant.
It was of course Shaq's dominant force, but if it wasn't for Kobe, it wouldn't be able to be what it was because we had Penny before we went to the Lakers. I'm not saying they wouldn't have won one. I'm not saying that. But
eventually Penny and Shaq.
Where were they? Okay, but it was going to be after the Bulls broke up because remember Shaq was there when the Bulls were going on their run. So reason why, of course, they left was
they beat Jordan once.
They beat them in 95 when he came back.
He came back.
Yeah. It was in 95 though. It was the next year after that. It was when they started the 3-peat.
Yeah, that's the next.
So I mean, of course we can all say what could have, should have. The same thing with Scotty. Scotty could have been a trailblazer. Scotty could have been in other trade packages. Could have had T-Mac. I heard the T-Mac and Jordan trade. They could have had a lot of what ifs. That would have been wild.
T-Mac was that Jordan would turn T-Mac into
T-Mac was that dude, bro.
Yeah, T-Mac was that dude. I think for me, my 5 probably be almost the same. I feel like you almost have if you go in 2000 below, it got to be Magic, Bird, and Jordan got those front courts. Those back courts, those don't move. And then the bigs, it gets interesting. But I guess I'll have to go with you go from 1960 all the way up.
1960.
I've been watching a lot of Wilt Chamberlain stuff on YouTube, and I know people like take his era for consideration, but like he's a lot better athlete than I thought. His season,
track and field,
right?
Multiple sports.
Right,
somebody that's very underrated.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for like the overly athletic guy. Like I look at the LeBrons and the Wilts, the Shaq. So I'm gonna go with Wilt and Shaq. Why not? Switch it up.
Okay.
You can't go wrong.
Not at all.
Yeah. I can say Kareem. I see Kareem play either. truth be told, I ain't watched a lot of Hakeem. I just know a lot.
The reason, and that's understandable. The reason why I'm somebody that always has to throw Kareem out there is because he is somebody that is very. It doesn't happen very often that you win in high school, college, and in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So for him to do that on all levels and be, of course, the main focal point of it, you have to throw him in there, period.
Yeah, you have to.
So that's why I always do.
And their stats are crazy back then. I don't understand how they scored.
Oh, bro, like 15 20. It's something like, man, I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, I'm not. It just sounds fake. It sounds so fake. Yeah. I want to see the tape, though. I want to see it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
they did have
50 and 20 in a season.
The average was scoring 71. Yeah, the final game of the season or whatnot for the scoring title. I mean, it's
averaging 50.
Yeah.
That means every time I paid admission to watch you play, you liable to give me a 50 piece.
50 piece.
With 20 rebounds.
I think at one point somebody told him that he was all he could do was score. So the next season, he led the league in assists.
Yeah,
I think he did that.
Something crazy. I want to ask you. Well, I just go through the starting five for the 2000.
No, ask my quick one.
Yeah, I want to ask you a quick question because Isaiah Thomas brought this up. I didn't agree because quick side thing. I do think Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Okay. But he'll let you know I love LeBron. Yeah. That's my guy. Yeah. But Isaiah did say something that made me give a cause for pause. So Isaiah was saying that when Mike was in the league, there was only one Mike, athletically. Right. He came to the league in '84 doing things that we have never seen before. So that's why he was able at 23 years old. He was just physically, you saw him against the Celtics, blowing past. Like, you got Rick Carlisle, Larry Bird, Bill Walton over here. Like, I just can't keep in front of you. There's nothing I can do. And Wilt dominated, but he was obviously a little bit ahead of his time. Whereas, like, you can maybe make the argument that there's a couple guys in the league now who aren't stars who are on that level athletically.
Absolutely.
Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, long athletic dudes who probably guard Jordan. Yeah. Zach LaVine, guys who aren't even cracking the All-Star team who are doing. We used to Jordan up the free throw line. He's doing 360s from the free throw line. So maybe Jordan was a little bit ahead of his time. But if you put a KD or a LeBron in that age, does LeBron and his peak not beat up on the 86 Celtics?
No, he's taking him to the. You know what I'm saying? You can't wrap LeBron up. Everybody even tries. That don't work. Like they tried it last year. It was 2 seasons ago. Right. They tried to wrap him. He still finished the layup.
So do you agree with the argument that maybe Jordan, he was a good at one point, but just because the evolution of, because I feel like we admit the evolution of athletes in every sport except basketball. We want to say, football, guys are bigger, stronger, faster. Now I don't want to hear about Johnny Unitas. We say that about all the other sports, but for some reason with basketball, we tend to still ignore those things and hold these guys up. And I feel like that's interesting.
I agree.
Definitely, because if he comes through the lane floating, somebody's going to be right behind him. To throw it. Like LeBron's right behind you. I don't know if that's
or you ain't going to be able to throw it because you're only 195 pounds.
Yes. I mean, that fadeaway is going to work, though. His fadeaway is definitely going to work. I mean, Kobe's still working. LeBron's still working. KD's unstoppable now. But, like, if that fadeaway is always going to be there. But, like you said, the athleticism.
Right. Especially in the early 80s when he came.
Yeah, but, like, there are guys that's, I think, what's the guy's name? Check Diallo or something Diallo in OKC. He got so much bounce, but he don't have he's not fine, refined.
Yeah, fundamentally.
Yeah, but like he can bounce.
Does he kind of remind me like Shannon Brown?
Yeah, but those guys can bounce.
I remember Shannon Brown about the building, but no consistent shot.
Yeah,
handle was
but those guys they could probably guard Jordan. I'm saying they probably could guard him. Right. At least stay in front of him, make him a little bit more difficult.
Make it hard. You can look at even Ron Harper's mad. Ron Harper was a really good athlete in the 80s. Instead of putting him on Jordan last year, they put Craig Elo. I love Craig Elo. I'm sure he's a great basketball player. For his time, he can't guard Jordan. You saw he was with him the whole time. Jordan just rolls up, stayed in the air longer, waited till Elo came down.
That was the situation with a lot of guys who just stop and rise up.
Right?
He was holding. I'm like, man, that don't work no more.
Look, like he was the first guy to make y'all think y'all can do this. So as kids, people are seeing this. But like you said, a lot of times I see. Like you said, Jordan just gets up and he just jumps. Yeah, he just jumps his way out of problems. Yeah. So you really can't. So it's interesting. That's an interesting thing. As a basketball player, I wanted to ask you your opinion on that. Maybe he was just ahead of his time in certain things. That's why I do love the 98 footage because that shows you, more of a modern era. That shows you the skill level, though. That was always going to work.
I like to compare it to like how Zion just jumps up right there. He just jumps up and floats. It's close and everybody, nobody knows what to do. They're like, until they figure him out, they're like, okay, we jump here.
The power too.
Yeah, I think the power with the bounce is crazy.
And I like how you said that because my dad said the same thing. My dad's a huge Michael Jordan fan. He loves LeBron. He loves Zion. Yeah. He's like, it's really similar. Early 80s MJ, the strength and the athleticism. He could just, like you said, what can you do? He's just jumping over people. Yeah. We ain't never seen nothing like it. And then he had the skill set after. And I feel like they said Zion's is a lot the same because he's just 285 to jump out the gym. He's just physically doing it. And LeBron used to do that a lot of his career too.
He used to.
When he first came.
With
the tomahawk.
The true greats have the athletic advantage at first. Those first 4 or 5 years, they're just really going on talent alone.
And thinking like, okay, I don't need this anymore. Well, you need it, but like I need other parts of my game.
Right, continue to more so.
Right. But let's be real too. And you from Vince Carter to Kobe to Michael Jordan to anybody that comes in with athleticism, you are going to have to learn the game on the court when it comes to getting your shot off, going to your spot, dribble, pull up. You're gonna have to learn those basic things on the court because 4, 5, 6. Why Zach LaVine? You're 8, you're 7, you're 8. He ain't jumping like that no more. No, and it's not because he can't do it no more. It's just because defenders are not going to allow you to do that.
It's a long season.
Yeah, it is because and also like your knees are
and that's
things
right.
like that. But over time, like your jump shot, your game, like your skills, they won't leave you. It might get a little bit rusty, but they won't leave you. But your bounce is definitely going to leave you at some point. It's going to give and take over 82 games, over summers. Like right now, everybody's going crazy, but I'm pretty sure everybody likes this coin scheme break for their body. I'm loving it right now, but just for my body purposes, because there's no way you're going to be able to just keep jumping and getting hit and things like that. But you're not going to a smooth jump shot over and over and over again. So like, you have to learn those skills.
Right. And these guys playing long, they want to play multiple years.
Yeah.
82 games is a grind, just one season. For a normal person with regular joints, these are freaks. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing this 7, 8, 9 years in a row. Yeah. Jordan can still dunk, but why?
Yeah, why would he do it? Well, like, you also got the Olympics now. They got everybody wants to see you work out now. So it's an ongoing thing. So you say 82 games, but you're pretty much playing your basketball, or football, whatever the case may be.
And I was gonna get this, and I was gonna get that with all sports. It seems like and I'm just gonna throw back to high school. When we were in high school, we of course had our season. Either we were in season for football, you guys were in off season. Mm-hmm. You had your off-season program, Coach Amen. We doing our thing with football, and then we go into spring season. Mm-hmm. We have our off-season program going on. You guys are, doing your season thing, and then the summer come. I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what you guys are doing, but I know that we had SAC camp and we had 7-on-7. So that pretty much, and this is just high school in 2005 to 2009. Mm-hmm. What was you guys' schedule like in the summertime?
Much more hectic than y'all's. We at that time, that's AAU basketball.
Yeah.
So like, if you don't have school, your team is making you come at the morning time, come in the afternoon time. Especially hoop stars, like every day we have like 2 or 3 workouts, and then practice at night. So like, it's a grind especially because they think, since you indoors, you don't got to deal with the heat. They grinding you, bro. They killing you.
That's me. I'm a football guy. I'm a football guy.
Those gyms be hot, bro. They be hot sometimes, man. And it's like a grind. And they you young, you can just go all day. No, I cannot.
I need a break.
Yeah, but like we're traveling. We're going from like city to state to this place to that place just to get recognized because like we were talking earlier before the show. We didn't have social media like that back then. Like Twitter was just like words. There was no pictures, no nothing. So you had to travel to get seen. It wasn't like, just post this here and all the coaches can just watch your videos. No, it wasn't like that. We had to go. So I was in Dallas, Austin, trying to get seen.
Right. And I'm a little younger than you. I'm 09 to 13. And
you play AAU ball yourself?
Yeah, I play AAU ball, circuit EYBL and everything. But the one thing that I will say is that when we were in high school, there was Hoop Mixtape for Ball's Life. That's it. So you got to get on national level to get that.
Yeah.
They have like 3 or 4 mixtape companies in Houston making mixtapes for 3 stars.
Yeah, I know that.
It's crazy.
I know that.
So it's just like, it goes to show you, like, it was just a lot. Like you said, man, you had to get out there during that live period. Yeah. In July, tournaments, 4 or 5 in Austin. You got to, you want to get the opportunity. So it's a lot of things have changed. A lot of these kids are celebrities now.
Yeah.
Mikey Williams, Brian, I know these guys. Yeah. I never knew a freshman. These guys have changed. They're on FaceTime with Drake.
I always say
it's crazy.
If social media was around when we were in school,
boy,
they could build their brands a lot.
Man,
yeah, we would have. Man, we having different conversations right now.
Right now. Again, if you went to Lane Creek High School back in 2005 or about 2010, I'm gonna leave it alone at that because. Good thing we didn't have social media. And I say this all the time. I promise you.
Yeah. I always say, man, if I had an IG live, and I was,
what?
Oh man,
through the roof, man.
But
there's a lot of talent in those hallways back then.
But I'll say this. But that also again shows the evolution of what it takes to become an athlete, because we can say that it is easier to get recognition, to get seen, to get this, to get that, but it also is easier to mess up that opportunity as well, because we've seen people put out racist stuff on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, get in trouble.
Because we used to be wild on Twitter back then, right?
So
we
used to say
now they bringing that back.
You feel me? To where let's be real.
Always Twitter was crazy.
Yeah.
We probably didn't know what you were saying, or probably didn't mean to say it at the time, and all that good stuff. Probably just acting stupid.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you do get thrust into the limelight. Some of your past do get dug up, and I think that with this generation of athletes, with this generation and the next generation, that's going to be another part of sports that you as a you're a parent, and we all become parents. That we're going to have to teach our kids how to act on social media, because it ain't going away anywhere anytime soon.
And also too, before we not to get too much off The Last Dance, but just on a recruiting level, I feel like, and Chris Bassard had brought this up, basketball used to be, quote unquote, like a poor people's game, as far as like you look in the 90s, the top 5 high schoolers probably don't got a pot to piss in, need some clothes, they need money, they're playing in the streets. Now it's the kids who got parents who have the money to go to these trainers, these academies. It's become a suburban game. Look at all these NBA players now, they're from the suburbs. Their dads maybe used to play overseas, or even if they didn't, they made some money, so they're getting them trainers like that. It used to be a urban game, a poverty game. Now it's like it's more like baseball.
The only way, pretty much. The only way you're going to get in is if you have money.
Right. It's turning into that.
And shout out to J. Mike tuning in as well. Guest last week on the show. Appreciate you for tuning in again. He said, fact, LaMelo has been a star for the last 4 years now. That definitely is true. If you don't know who LaMelo Ball is, I guess you've been under a rock. But it's funny, J. Mike brought up Melo because I don't know if you've seen reports, but the Ball brothers actually just signed with Rock Nation. They did just today. All three of them just signed to Rock Nation. So we'll see how that business venture goes for them and whatnot, because we've seen the rise and collapse of Big Baller Brand, unfortunately, later. But they did. We have the dad saying it's coming back. So we'll see how that goes and all that good stuff. But I hope for Lonzo and all the Ball brothers, they take their time to be able to work with Rock Nation and get everything that they want to get out of it the way that they want to get it, instead of through their dad, which we can talk about that another day for another time when it comes to the LeVar Ball situation. But it's just
undefeated, never lost.
But it's just one of those things where it's unfortunate that these guys have to live their life through the public, because I'm pretty sure, and like we're talking about now, we know things that will never go on TV or never go whatever, like we talked about back in high school. But it seems like those guys, the Ball brothers, they put their life out for the forefront for us, entertainment-wise, and they knew what they signed up. Same thing with the Kardashians, same thing with any other famous family. But it does have to be kind of tough to be, growing up in a situation like that where everything, good or bad, that you do is on spotlight for everybody to judge you.
Yeah, absolutely. That has to be tough. Like, always, everywhere you go, there's a phone on him, or people look at eyes on you. And that has to be tough. I mean, he couldn't even stay at his regular high school. His dad pulled him out. And regardless of what you want to say about LeVar Ball, the plan worked. Like, it worked. I mean,
generational wealth.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Regardless how reckless he was and how absurd he was saying, like, comments, but it worked. Like, his boys, 2 of them are going to be in the league. Well, the third one's in the G League. Well, the middle one's in the G League. And then the youngest one's going to be a top pick. So, I mean, it worked.
It worked, and it also goes to show you that if you got the talent, because a lot of players who got taken out of high school with the Lithuania on a sideshow and everything, they probably would have ended up losing their way. So a high school guy, maybe not making the league, but LaMelo, true to him, he worked hard and he still had that talent. I feel like we all knew LaMelo and Lonzo were the NBA guys, and Jello wasn't. And that was before all this happened.
Jello's my favorite, though. I like the jumper.
He do have the stick shot. But I'm a Zoe guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I goes to show you, hey, man, Kareem will rise to the top.
Yeah. I think that if Zoe would have stayed at UCLA, he would have saved Jello. Because Jello wouldn't have gotten into like the mess he got into.
Facts.
And I think Jello would have killed it in college if he would have stayed. And now I think Zoe is ready for the league. He's killing this year. I think if he would have waited and took his time instead of like getting pushed into the draft, I think he would have saved Jello, and he would have Probably would be
rookie
of the year conversation.
I'm a big guy too.
Yeah, he does it all. He does it all. I wish the Lakers would have traded him.
That's an easy
That's
trade.
his
But let's be real. I don't know about y'all, but when the reports came out about the Jello situation that happened overseas, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was fake. I really thought it was fake at the time because I thought it was some hating going on. I really thought it was hateration going on where they were going to find some way to shine a bad light on LeVar at the time. Like, man, they hating on the LeVar brothers, but come to find out, it's really what he did, and
why?
That's the thing.
Why?
You have everything, bro. Like you have,
just buy it.
not even you tell me you can't go to your daddy. He probably would have bought it, for you as well, but. That goes to show people as well. It doesn't matter if you have it or not. Guess what? He was still a kid. He did a kid dumb mistake move that if it was any other kid, he probably wouldn't have had no opportunity ever to be able to play again. But because of his what?
To play devil's advocate, because we all do dumb things. But
we do.
If you're in China, y'all really gonna steal from a store in China at 18, 19? I've done a lot of dumb things. I'm not doing that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I've stolen before, but not. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've done some free. But in China,
I have done nothing. I'm not self-incriminating myself. I've done nothing.
I don't even know. I heard about Chinese prison.
I wouldn't put myself at risk all the way out there like that.
Yeah, especially that opportunity.
Not knowing it's hard either. That's still from Walmart.
Right.
Don't score it over, like
go. Right. I'm just not gonna steal in China, bro. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh man.
That's a whole other.
Yeah,
but that's
a whole other show.
That would cross my mind. That's a whole other show. That's a Last Dance.
It's back to the Last Dance. All right. So anyway, so like I said, like your teammate back in Lehigh, like you said before, you said every team and every sport has a player like a Dennis Rodman, but they just don't have. They don't have the drive and the talent and the intangibles of a coach like a Phil Jackson to coach that type of player. Like I talked about before, with him being with Chuck Daly prior to Phil Jackson. I mean, if it wasn't for Chuck Daly, kind of like, let's be real, kind of calming him down, or I wouldn't say calming him down. I guess you'll say letting him be him and still be able to grow up at the young age that he was with the Pistons. I think it definitely helped the way that Phil Jackson was able to take him in. Because I think if you would have went to Phil Jackson first, I mean, who knows? Because Phil was young. He was still a new up-and-coming coach. He didn't have the 3 rings yet. Remember, Robin came to the next repeat. He wasn't there all 6 rings. So,
and also too, I mean, with the whole Dennis and the Chuck Daly with the Pistons thing too. I mean, I know this is a whole romanticizing of the Bulls, so we get one side of it, but it's almost like the AD conversation too. When Dennis first got to the Pistons, saying he has no cachet in the league, got no money. You know what I mean? Like he's a little puppy. He just said it. Like coming in, Isaiah's established, son established. After you win championships, now you're Dennis Rodman. Sometimes people say money gives you the ability to be who you always really were.
True.
You just never was. So also too, it can also be Chuck probably did. Chuck Daly did real man, but at the same time, I don't think maybe Dennis was that level of where he was by the time he had got some of that success and some of that other things. He was able to be the person he was going to be. So it could have just been like a timing thing as well. He was really humble, quiet. So he started making some money. Look at AB. Everybody said his first year, he was more on the calm side. Yeah. He gave him that contract. Ryan Clark said that was going to be the worst thing you could ever do. He got the money. Yeah. He just turned to somebody. But that's maybe something that's a desire. Just that once you get established, now you can start doing your own. It's just
I didn't think about it like that, but that's a good.
I always got to take the devil's advocate. That's what I love doing with these things. So
I definitely understand. That's why we have different opinions on here. Nobody is right. At the end of the day, that's our opinion. That's our opinions on the situation. They went through the situation. They went through the actual, real life situations, especially with Rodman. I'm pretty sure if you watch the documentary episode 3 and 4, you watch Rodman get done playing the game and he leaves on the chopper. But before he leaves on the chopper, he chugs a beer. Throws the beer out, hops on the chopper, and of course, does a burnout and leave with fans screaming and whatnot. This is in the Bulls, of course, where the players park at. So this is where the players parking lot of that, and he just zooms out with, of course, cops all around. I'm pretty sure they all seen it. Yeah. It ain't like he gonna get a DUI that night. It's just so crazy. It just goes to show you again some of the things that certain players were allowed to get away with. And again, this is before social media. So.
Makes you wonder why, as a kid, I'm really into stats. I always wonder why players always used to play like a lot shorter. You see guys 10-year careers, 11-year careers, 13-year careers, but like, they worked hard, but boy, like you talk about, I see clips of Larry Bird drinking beers in the middle of the season. They just figured if they can, the diet part, I don't think caught up to the NBA yet.
At all.
I feel like they're like, as long as I'm in the gym working on my shot, I'm working on my game. I work hard, I can consume and eat whatever I want.
No, I definitely agree on that.
Like, even Mike, you know what I'm saying? Like these dudes over here, they're doing. It's just astounding to me because nutrition that now has gotten down to like the middle school level. You know, so you would never think that, just to see how that has gotten in the pros back in the day. It's really funny to me, man.
No, that's a great thing to bring up because, like you said, I'm trying to think of it myself. Like, who was that athlete? And this was before Bron. I don't know if it was Kobe, but who was that athlete that really took it that serious that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that I'm better on all phases of, you know, basketball, you know, on the court, off the court, and you know, mentally as well. So maybe it was Kobe. I'm not for sure. There's something that I'll have to go look up and go look into. But it wasn't that 80s era. It wasn't that 90s era because they weren't doing it. So, you know, it was that. I think it was that Kobe LeBron era because, of course, you know, we talk about LeBron and the way he does his thing when he's working out and eating and all that stuff. But now every sport, from women's soccer to baseball to badminton, you know, it's some type of sports science into it because it really does work. It's not no BS. It really does work.
Nutrition and sleep.
Yeah.
I feel like today I was talking about guys wasn't getting a lot of sleep and stuff like that. But I feel like those two advancements that just being a LeBron, I know you're a big LeBron guy, I'm a big LeBron fan, that's going to be a part of his legacy. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of players are going to be playing a lot longer into the future because the guys that you see, Giannis and the Lucas, they see, man, I want to play 20 years. I want to be 35 still able to do some of the things. And we start to read, Conor McGregor said, he read how LeBron invested millions into his body. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't even do that. I feel like that's just, it's a new age thing. I feel like that's going to be something that every player has little things that they feel like they can set a trail for. Player movement, player freedom is the main thing for LeBron. But also, I feel like treating his body the way he does, I feel like he treats his body. I'm a Michael Jordan guy, but I don't think everybody knows at the same age. I mean, what LeBron's doing, I feel like he can do it till he's, what's going to stop him from doing it until he's 30? The way he treats his body.
Yeah, why not? All the technology we have now, like they have like little
advancements in technology.
They have like these boots you can put on, like these little sleeves you can put all the way like past your like knee, and like it gets like compressed and it gets cold.
Yeah,
we use that overseas. And, like,
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I forget what it's called, but like I forget the name of it. But like, you can put it on and like do it for like 15-20 minutes. That saves like.
You talking about actually the black sleeves? The black sleeves. Oh yeah, the compression. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, he's in the Ziploc bag, get the ice
cream,
wrapping
that's like so.
Bag gripping, you got white
ice bars.
But like, they have all that stuff now, and like they can like travel with that stuff. So like, they're always fresh. They got people like
always recovering.
They got playing. And that good old bottle of wine helps too. That's part of my recovery too. Good bottle of wine.
Look, I am not going to lie. I am a beer guy, but I am going to have to start thinking about sipping on this wine because I hear nothing but good things about it and whatnot. I am going to have to hop on the train.
Not to go on a side tangent, but it seems like everybody who crosses that wine line, once they go, they're like, I can't go back.
They don't go back.
This is where it's at. I promise you, bro. I promise you.
I'm going to look into it.
I'm 25, so I'm making that transition right now.
It's tough because Texas has good craft beer.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a sucker for the craft beer. But like if it's just like regular like Bud Light or something like that, I'll pass it on it. And like I do wine, man. That red wine's good for your body too. So
have you got to the point of being a wine that you got certain favorites? Certain things you like, stuff like that? Yeah, that's always
good. If I said that Merlot.
It's right.
I love it. I have some favorites, but I usually look for like the alcohol percentage because they'll tell me like how like bitter one is,
right?
Fruity or something like that. I can just tell. I mean, so
what's a better way to wind down? Right? What's a better way to wind down?
Yeah, why not? And it's slower. That beer, you can't work out right now, so it's sitting on you, bro. It's sitting. So I be sipping on that wine.
So speaking of wine and things that get better with age, like I said, we'll finish it up with Phil Jackson when it comes to this last dance and whatnot, and like I said, a quick little fact on Phil Jackson. He was able to coach for 20 seasons and have 0 losing seasons. I think that just shows just one part of his greatness as a coach. And then, of course, like we talked about on the first episode of the Sports Plug, capturing Michael Jordan's 30 for 30, we talked about him being able to coach the dynasties of the Bulls and also with the Lakers. And a lot of people don't give Phil Jackson his credit because people will always say, well, I mean, you have Michael and Scottie and Shaq and Kobe. That's easy to coach. Everybody can do that, right? Anybody can go out there and go coach these guys. And, I can go get Joe Schmo off the street, and we're going to win at least 2 titles with Michael and Pippen. But I think it goes to show you, the greatness of Phil Jackson to be able to coach guys on so many different personalities, and we see it with the Warriors and the Rockets and the Lakers and this present day age with coaching and players to what we saw, like I said, in the 90s with Phil Jackson and the 2000s with the Lakers. I just thought it was very cool to see how Phil Jackson was able to win titles in different, with different teams.
Yeah, sure.
And also, too, I thought it was really cool. Just I knew about Tex Winter through my dad.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But just to really understand, I feel like he's a guy who just, like I said, I'm a huge Jordan fan. He never gets his flowers, but the triangle offense is Tex. Tex is just not he's not a head coach. Everybody who can coach can't be a head coach because that's a personality thing. But to see how the offense came from him, how he was trying to get Doug Collins to do it, he didn't want to do it. Jordan was kind of like let loose, you know what I mean? And then Phil was able to take it with those skills that he has to manage egos, to be a people's person with that offense was really dope. Also, the triangle offense, just in general, because those are offenses that Mike and Kobe just praise all the way through. You know what I'm saying? That equal opportunity offense. It goes to show you that if you want to win championships, and this brought me back to James Harden. Just brought me back to Russell Westbrook. And just to state of the league today, I feel like, because you watch a lot of NBA right now, what's the style right now is give your best player the ball, let him monopolize it, run the pick and rolls, and kind of like, so it's not really equal opportunity. So you got one guy maybe 30-10 come up pick and roll, scoring points, if he has that ability. But I do feel like it goes to show you when Jordan wasn't winning with Doug Collins. Look at, they showed a little brief from 86, 89, defensive player of the year. All those, I think 37 a game, 35, MVP, All-Star MVP.
Defensive player of the year.
Defense, all that, no wins. It wasn't until, you're able to get into an offense that ball movement is still, I feel like, that's what you have to win. I feel like that's what showed.
That's how they were able to win.
The ball had to get out of Jordan's hands. He didn't believe that at first, but it goes to show you, too, that you got to trust and you got to be able to have that ball move, and it still goes back to that. And I appreciated that, especially I want the Rockets. They're not my favorite team, but I do want them to win. And I hope James Harden is watching that episode.
Well, it's funny.
It made me think.
It's funny you bring it up because, and my bad to cut you off right quick, Mac, is that's the same thing that Jordan and Kobe said the exact same thing when Phil Jackson brought them the triangle offense, right? You taking the ball in my hand?
Right.
For what? Yeah. I'm not one scorer on the damn team. But when they realized, of course, when Kobe and MJ realized, like, yeah, that really does make sense because, I can get my 30. But if such and such is not getting their, 10, 15, of course, I'm still going to get doubled. But when that person is wide open, Paxson or Kerr or whoever it is, that person's wide open, I have the trust in them and they have the trust in me that I can actually pass them the ball. Of course, the same thing with Kobe and Ron Artest when he passed the ball in the finals and hit that 3 and whatnot. It goes to show you that when you were doing it your way, because Kobe did it too with Smush Parker and the old 506 season and whatnot, you're not going to be able to win. You put up numbers and whatnot, but you're not going to be able to win. But when you are able to involve everybody, you are able to win. And I think also, too, unfortunately, that's a knock on LeBron. That LeBron came in. I'm like Magic. I'm going to give it to everybody. I don't have to be the guy. But people were trying to make him be the next Jordan. You have to have it like this. You have to do it this way. You got to be more selfish. Yeah, he was the opposite. He came in, not selfish. Then people were telling him you need to be selfish so you can win, win a series. Yeah.
I think LeBron got a bad shake because LeBron's really Magic. He just had Jordan's athleticism, so it's like you got to be like Mike because you're jumping out the gym. And I feel like he got that early, the expectations. Plus, people want you to do it like how the last guy did.
Yes.
This is be real. There's different ways to skin a cat, but people want you to do it like how the last guy did. So we're just coming off the 90s. Jordan was a scorer. He was an attacker. So you have to do it that way.
But I've always looked at LeBron as Magic. I've never looked at him as Jordan, but because of the media, because of what sells, because, again, I talked about this before, the reason why some people aren't in the forefront of other people is because Michael Jordan's name sells more than Isaiah Thomas' name.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen's name is going to sell more than Chris Webber's name. Like, it is what it is, to where the reason why they always try to go back to certain teams in history or go back to certain, I was watching Get Up First Take this morning, and Isaiah was talking to Stephen A. Smith and was saying, well, why does every time y'all show the Pistons, y'all always show us as the bad guys? Y'all always show us doing this and that. Y'all always show us doing this. Y'all don't ever show when we beat the Celtics or when we beat Michael Jordan or when we beat, all these other great teams. Y'all always show Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael, which y'all always figure out the Pistons. Kind of the same way we talked about Kobe. Why don't I always throw in Kobe in there? I don't know. I don't know why, but that's the case. And it goes like that on every generation, every era. There's plenty, and I'm just going to throw it out here with football. There's plenty of football teams from college to pro that we can talk about till the cows come home, that this team is better than that team. But because they didn't win, they didn't do this or that. I know you're Louisiana boy, so I know you saw your LSU Tigers win. So they try to compare that team with Miami, University of Miami back in 2001. I remember watching that team with Ed Reed, was McKnight, Ken Dorsey, those boys. And
that's a top 3 team right there.
It doesn't matter what happens with what team, they're always going to get compared to somebody. That's just what we do. That's what sells. That's the media. That's how it makes people money, and that's what we're going to do.
The victors write the history books. That's what I was telling Isaiah Thomas at the end of the day. Like, the victors write the history
books. But also, too, Isaiah got 2. He ain't no slouch.
Right. But in the grand scheme of how the NBA went,
this is true. Like Magic has 5 or 4 MVPs.
Right.
Some people just get looked over, bro. That's just how it is.
I agree.
A lot of times you act like the Houston Rockets didn't win 2 championships. Like
that's
they
true.
Over that all the time, and that was in the heat.
I like how you said that.
Came in between.
That came.
But also,
like they act like that didn't happen. But also, a lot of people say it wouldn't have happened if Michael didn't go play baseball.
Well, it did.
That is very true. People do talk about the '90s and just the Bulls as if. And not also 2 titles, they repeated.
They repeated.
Yeah. They repeated.
Dream was that guy.
But we're going to treat them like how we kind of treated the Raptors. We're going to treat the Raptors.
Yeah,
nobody's going to rip this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a blip in the Matrix. It was just a glitch in the Matrix.
You said a point earlier about how, team basketball kind of, not playing anymore. But, that's because you see it in Houston so much. Like, you watch James Harden dribble the ball 100 times.
No, but I was going to say, no.
And it gets a little annoying, but, to help the Rockets out, though, not just to talk bad about them all the time. Yeah. They play better when Harden's off the floor, to me. When Westbrook has come and he's ignited everybody. And, they went on that little scoring streak when...
Matt, can you say that one more time?
What?
Can you say what you just said one more time?
Because
when I say it, I get scolded for it.
I don't know why. It's very
because
obvious.
People think that I'm a Rockets hater, and that's not true.
It's just not fun to watch James Harden dribble the ball all the time. I like to watch it in the summertime, but not during the NBA game. And
it's hard on the eyes.
It is. And, if you know basketball, you're watching the right thing. The Rockets play better with Westbrook handling the ball. It's just evident.
I've said it since day one. Westbrook came to the Rockets, and the first couple of games, when I saw him doing, of course, what he's been able to do with the Thunder and whatnot, I said to myself, if Westbrook is able to do this, he will be the one to lead the Rockets to a championship, and Harden has to play second fiddle.
Yeah, but I don't know if he can. I don't know if Harden can, but it's just hard, man. It's hard because Harden was having some struggles this season. A good 10, 12 games. He was not there. He just wasn't there. He started off hot and he went cold, but Westbrook carried boys through that, and they looked unstoppable for a little time period. And they look good when Harden doesn't have the ball. He just has to learn to catch and shoot a little bit more.
Off-ball play just needs to get better.
It has to.
Overall.
But that's what I was going to bring up as well. He was better at that, of course, when he was a 6-man at OKC. You kind of bring that to where what I was going to say is the best and the worst thing about OKC is that they broke up. Because, unfortunately, we were not able to see them 3 run the table and see what they can do together. But the best thing for all 3 of them is that they did need to break up so all 3 of them could shine individually.
I guess so, man.
And I think with Harden, fortunately and unfortunately, coming to the Rockets, they pretty much say we're all in on you. But I just feel like he hasn't been able to take even more of a next step with his game by not having to touch the ball, the Michael Jordan step. Yeah. Like we just saw right now. I can put up 35. Mm-hmm. But what about Eric Gordon? What about PJ Tucker? Yeah. What about anybody else that needs to get their points besides me? I need to make sure that they are hitting.
I mean, they got the furthest when they were playing team basketball when Chris Paul. When they were dishing the ball out, everybody was hitting threes. Like when you spread the wealth, you have a better chance. Now it's just we're just waiting to see how many points he scores, which is you can't hate on his greatness. It's a great attribute to be able to score the ball like that and dribble like that. It's amazing. It's just a time and place for those things, and I don't think that this is the time for them right now.
Because what did you say, Jordan? Victor's right the way.
Oh, Victor's right the history books.
Right.
And to go back to that too, like I know it's not an NBA Harden thing, but the difference between me was why I never really put Harden up there with the Kobe's and the MJ as far as scores is that it's not necessarily the shot attempts because George shot the ball a lot, Kobe shot the ball a lot, but when you just monopolize the ball in your hand, because Kobe, Jordan, KD, they can all come off down screens. They can all, they may shoot it a lot, but they're not just having the ball. They're making quick decisions with their. When somebody's just monopolizing the ball, that's almost worse than taking off shots. That's because, like you said, there's no movement. Mm-hmm. I see Jay Harden kicking the Russ, and he's just watching. Mm-hmm. It's just right. Then it goes down. Right. That's for a pin down. Alley. You know what I mean?
But that's not all Harden's fault. That's partially
coaching.
Yeah, he's allowing him to do that.
Exactly.
He's allowing him to do it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take the big out, so even more. So you gotta do it. So you can't.
Yes, true.
If the coach is telling you to go do it, you gotta do it.
Well,
that's facts. Because he's doing a good job, great job.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can. So that's.
But it's funny you bring up the NBA season. It's funny you talk about like some of the Rock because reports are that the NBA are trying to start back with the NBA season. They're trying to get teams that are able to work out to get you back in the gym and whatnot. Quick question, are we going to have an NBA season?
I don't know. Maybe if they
are finished, I should say.
They're going to have to find some type of way to do it. I mean, for one, money, of course. For two, the fans, we just need to see a champion of some sort. I really want to see it because I know LeBron's window is shrinking, and I feel like if they take us away from my guy, we're gonna be like, man, what if? And he don't need no more what ifs in this.
Yeah,
we can't afford no more. I'm a real LeBron fan. We can't afford no more what ifs.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
After episode 1, I tweeted LeBron needs a championship.
ASAP. I mean, he's been at the final. Like everybody just wants to see him win. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you get there; they want to see you win. So I hope we do see end of the season type of thing. Maybe it's a month type of tournament or whatever they got to do. I just want to see some type of conclusion to the season.
Do you feel like everybody's actually going to be in shape, though? That's the thing. You've been off for about a good 2 months now, right?
I saw a quote. Chris Paul said he ain't touched the ball since March 11th. But prior to the Jazz layup lines, I've been feeling bad because I've been at the house and ain't been doing nothing. And I'm like, man, I'm out of shape. If they call me back now, I'm going to be.
Don't tell nobody that.
Yeah.
They've been working out every day.
There's nothing, but there's nowhere you can go. There's nothing you can do unless you.
You can't do basketball.
Yeah, unless you got Drake House, you can go work out there. I don't got Drake House. You know what I mean? So like, it's nothing I can't do. Right? And that's a lot of people. Everybody's got LeBron or Drake. And can't do those things. So people are gonna need time. There's some guys on a rookie contract or a veterans minimum or something that they can't do.
Serge Ibaka was out here running in his house, and I saw somebody tweet talking about Serge. Everybody don't have runways in their house.
Yeah, like my driveway's not that long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep it above. You know players who play pros. Not every player's trying to be the GOAT. LeBron's trying to do something that's past money. This is a legacy thing. So he's still working. So they in the league and they working to do their job. But let's just be real. You give me a month off. I'm not. Hey, music to my ears. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure.
I was about to be on vacation in 2 months anyway. Some of these teams they don't make the playoffs and stuff.
The most I'm ran is chasing my daughter, bro. That's
right. Right.
Let's go 3 steps and then I'm like, all right. Hold on, baby.
Quick little quote from Gregory Turner out here watching. I appreciate you, Greg, for checking out. He said, "Wine is amazing. White wine for sure."
I like red wine.
Yeah, I'm not with the white
black,
but
I'm gonna say. So what's up, Jay Mike? That boy.
And of course, Jay Mike. He also said, "No question, Phil Jackson is the best coach in basketball." Absolutely. And of course, if you didn't tune in to last week's episode, Jay Mike is actually somebody that actually played with Mackie McKnight.
That was my OG, man. He had that white Lexus. That boy took me everywhere. That was my dog, man. He put out some hot music too, like.
Oh yeah, like I said, Jay Mike. Check out Jay Mike's music as well. We out here chosen.
Hey, next time you see him, you gotta ask him about our stories too. That boy had me all around Houston in that day.
Trust me, we have plenty of episodes on the way. We can uncover some Cypress stories that have been untold. We gonna put out there. But for real though, like I said, one thing, of course, besides basketball that you do, of course, you also have your own podcast as well.
Yeah, we just started that, man. It's Mac to Mac. So my boy Kobe Williams. It's called Mac to Mac, Mac Square. It's basically the late night driveway conversations. You know, we usually out in the driveway, you be having your brews and everything. Y'all just, the conversation just goes deeper and deeper. You talk about sports, your love life, everything, man. So we just be trying to talk it up. We bring basketball, culture, media, everything, man. We be arguing about who better, Gucci Mane or Jeezy.
Gucci.
Yes, feel me? He's
Gucci.
Jeezy, but that's not dog. We usually be talking about everything, man. Giving people their props. We also talk about Cypress. He went to South Falls. He graduated in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, so he got a lot of stories.
Thank you for making me feel just a little bit younger. I mean, that's 25 age. I'm trying to feel a little bit older. There's nobody my age debating anything about Jeezy or Gucci. So that just threw me. That just threw me. But I'm sure that's a good debate, though. It's like, Joe Rogan?
Yeah, dude.
He kind of has like that. It can get deep. It can get all the way left. You know what I mean? You go deep and stuff like that. So that conversational type of podcasts are needed, especially with black men.
Yeah.
So that's really dope that you're doing that, bro.
Because we have these conversations one-on-one all the time. We were talking before we even got on the mic, and that conversation was getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and I had to stop it before we.
But I feel like people need to have these conversations. You need to talk, and it's good to have multiple opinions because you have to respect other people's opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but it's good to hear it. It might trigger you to do something else, but you need these conversations with your peers.
No, I definitely agree, Mac, and also too with social media because we've seen the rise of social media from where it was from. I'm talking about from MySpace, from MySpace to the beginning of Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, the basic layout of Instagram to where it is now. Everything has just happened so quickly and so fast that you look down, you look back up, and again, Twitter has turned from, hey, we just saying my day was fine to you're literally putting out your mixtape or your highlight tape or your whatever it is for people to see you so you can build your resume on your page. So you can
everything, man. Politics,
everything.
Promotion, everything, bro.
I used to post what I was eating for lunch on Instagram. Now there's quarantine live radio. So that's going to show you just in 5 to 6 years. That quickly that you go from that Woman Crush Wednesdays with celebrities, stuff like that, Ask FM, stuff like that. To, like I said, everybody's trying to go there and bring their thing. And I feel like you'd be fun enough to take advantage of the opportunities and the platforms that we have for these type of things. Other thing I feel like I do like podcasts are one of those last few medium platforms that is still a natural element about it. I'm a YouTuber, so within YouTube, and also I feel like with social medias and stuff like that, it's a lot of I don't know if they scripted, but a lot of things are a little bit more like trendy. Whereas I feel like with podcasts, with audio things, you still get like more of that human element, and it's just we like so much conversation nowadays, and we're always on the go. It's always amazing just to listen to guys in the room, speak and talk while you're on the road and stuff like that. So. You said you just started how long ago?
I think we've been doing it for like a month.
Definitely keep
6 episodes or something like that. Yeah.
Definitely keep doing that, bro. Definitely. That's something that we need. And I'll talk to you a little bit more later though, but keep that.
I like this little setup y'all got going on too, man.
I definitely appreciate it. I just started this. Like I said, the sports plug is something that hopefully will be around a little bit longer. And I do appreciate you, Mac, for joining in. Please let them know about your podcast right quick and everything else you have in store right before we get out there.
Like he said, I'm McKnight. We have a new podcast out. It's called Mac to Mac, Mac Square. I posted a lot on my Twitter feed, but we've just been doing that for about a month. Just a little insight. We both Cypress kids. Well, we're from different areas.
We transplants. We from other squads, but we met at Cypress.
That's the definition of Cypress kids, though.
You come from Cypress. It's something to do during this time, and it's also I'm just trying to get my open perspective because I've traveled around the world, so I got a bunch of different stories and how I had to mature much more quickly because I was by myself and I got a family. So I try to give my insight and how my brain works in the basketball that I've seen and how I view things going on in the world, and I try to bring that to the podcast.
For both of you guys, I feel like it's really important. You know, people always want to get the professional athlete perspective from the guys who made it from the top of the top. But I feel like guys like that overseas, you know what I'm saying, and what you're doing too in semi-pro, like these are the stories. Those are the pros. They can really tell you the real grind.
The real.
There's no benefits of treatment. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the real 100% view. You know what I'm saying? Both of y'all. I really like hearing from both of y'all when y'all go into that, because everybody can hear the pro stories as far as the high guys. How about because there's people who want to do what you're doing right now. You want to do what you did. You know what I'm saying?
And
people,
I said that to Mackie as well.
People trying to go overseas. People trying to play semi-pro, especially with this quarantine. A lot of people are trying to, like, around my age right now, trying to, like, I need to get back type thing. So things like that, to hear perspectives from, I want to call y'all like the real pros. I feel like that's a story that's definitely going to be told.
I mean, it's just, if you mind, it's just real. It's just not as starry and gleamy as people. Like you have a lot of days where you question yourself. You question, like, why is my opportunity not here?
Right.
I know I'm better than this guy. You see him, like, man, I killed him last week or last month or whatever, but like, why is he getting looks? Why am I not getting looks? You go through all those types of things, or now you're far away from home, or then things are happening back home. So you're
and people assume that you got hella money because
everybody wants
to
you pull up and they expecting you in a Billy, but I pull up in a Honda. I'm like, you can go pay that note. I'm a whole mind. You know what I'm saying? I like this $20 gas right here.
There's a lot of misconceptions.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, and they be like, oh man, you must got this and that, or you must live like this and that. And it's like,
I got a house,
I'm okay. Like, I ain't LeBron. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to this type of thing. But like, yeah, man, my story is crazy. Like, I've had success, but I've been cut from teams.
Right.
I've went places and not made a team. Right. But I've been with my team now for like 2.5 seasons. And I always wanted that, but it took me a while to get there.
Exactly.
I've been here and there, and like, I've been out of basketball for a whole full season before.
Right.
Like, I was like, man, I gotta go work a real job.
Right.
You just can't get caught up in all the drama and your ego.
The extra stuff.
The extra stuff, bro. That's all it is. And so like I've just really been on a humble path. And like when you eat that first slice of humble pie, it don't taste good.
It don't.
It's good for your soul though. And like now I'm in a much more comfortable state, and it takes you a while. You look comfortable too, so it just takes you a while.
Right.
And like the going through that grinding process can affect like the relationships around you.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta be mentally strong, and like it's just nobody can really prepare you for it. You just gotta go through it and figure it out and see how it comes out. Pretty much, it's hard.
And I think the best thing for the next generation, people that's watching this, and like I said, the next generation that's coming behind us and all that stuff like that. What I wish we could have done better as a Langham community is be able to support each other going on to the next levels and next level. What I mean by that is I'm not talking about we got text every day. I'm not talking about I ain't talking about none of that stuff. I'm talking about there were guys that were able to keep on continuing their athletic success or whatever it is. And if you guys know that you are kind of going through the same types of things, either with coaches, mentally, this, that, the only other people that you're going to be able to share that same type of BS or realness or whatever it is that you're going through, only people that's going to be able to understand what you're going through are the ones that are going through it. Unfortunately, your girl, your mama, your daddy, whatever it is, they don't understand because they're not the ones going through it. So again, what I wish that could have happened, because and we'll get into another episode. Like another episode later, we'll talk about it more. Is unfortunately, even though you are a suburb kid and you are somebody that might have more opportunities, somebody that's in the hood or whatever it is, that does not necessarily mean that you're going to make it. And that does not necessarily mean that you have it all together. Right. Because I know people that have went to college and unfortunately their first semester, first year, they are done. Like it was over with. You feel me? And it's just one of those things where you automatically think, oh, because I signed to Texas Tech, I signed to A&M, I signed to Oklahoma. You know, I'm gonna be there for all 4 years, graduate, keep moving.
Don't work like that.
Not at all.
Don't work.
So I'll put it like this: I signed with a school the summer of 13. I was done with school by the summer of 14. Yeah. Like I said, there's no guarantees. Even at the lowest of levels, guys.
Even when I got to my school, I struggled my first semester. Really my first year, because like I'm far away from home. It's a top 10 party school. I'm going out.
What state was that?
Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
So it's going down.
I know it was a smart school. Leah's athletic. Academic wise.
Those type of schools are the best party schools because
Yeah.
any school is in the middle of nowhere. I'm with Mississippi College. Any school that's in the middle of nowhere. Texas Tech. Yeah.
Arizona State.
The more obscure the school sounds, I promise you guys, it's crazy because they nothing too good. It's not by a big city. It's right.
And like those like academic schools, like people are like studying so hard and going like just grinding it out at the books. You need some type of relief. Yeah. So like everybody, you see that person in the library all day, guaranteed Friday you're gonna see them doing a text. that was how that was. You know what I'm saying? But they was doing it.
Well, like I said, to wrap everything up, like I said, I definitely appreciate you, Mac, for being on. Hopefully you come again and join us for another episode. Tune in next week.
Yes.
I will say, fortunately and unfortunately, we will get to see, looks like Kobe Bryant in the next episode of 5 and 6 of The Last Dance. And we might have a little bit of a different episode next week. It might be a little tearjerker, but tune in. We'll have a good episode for you next week.
Yeah. Hey, I'm signing off, guys. It was fun again. See you guys next week.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Seriously, it was awesome.
Appreciate you, Mac.
Already.